Hello everyone. Today we're looking at remove methods from project, which was question 2 from weekly contest 418. So the question reads that we're maintaining a project that has n methods numbered from 0 to n minus 1. We're also given an integer n and k, n represents the number of nodes we have, and k we'll talk about in a second. So we're also given an integer array invocations, and this means that in our project, if we have ai and bi, it means that method a invokes method B. So you can kind of tell by this that we have a directed relationship where if we have A and B, it means that A is invoking B, but not the other way around. There's also a known bug in method K. So method K, along with any method invoked by them, directly or indirectly, are considered suspicious, right? So think of the direct and indirect. This will be important later on. So we can remove a group of methods only if there are no other outside methods that invoke those. So we want to return an array containing all the remaining methods after removing all the suspicious methods, and they can be in any order. So this is a pretty complicated description here, but let's look a little bit more in an example. So here we're looking at a graph that has an edge between 1 and 2 directed, between 0 and 1 directed, and 3 and 2 directed. And we're told that k is 1. And what does this mean? Well, we know that this means 1 has a bug. And remember, the description said that methods are suspicious if they have this bug or are invoked by this method that has the bug. And we see here that 1 invokes 2. So we can consider both of these to be suspicious. However, we cannot remove them because 3 points to 2, 0 points to 1. We have outside methods that still invoke these, so we cannot remove that group. Let's take a closer look at that example. So this is the same graph from above. How would we actually solve this? Well, if we are given our k value, right, we know where this bug starts. So how can we find the methods that are either invoked directly or indirectly by 1? Well, first what we can do is start at 1 and do a depth first search. We'll do a DFS. So essentially what we can do is we could find all of the methods in this group that are suspicious. So what would that look like? And I'll mark this in red. So we start at 1. And we say, this is suspicious. I'll color it in red here. Now let's do a DFS starting from here to all of our neighbors, because we know that anything that we invoke will also be suspicious. So what do we invoke from 1? Well, we invoke 2. So let's go to 2 here. So we say 2 is also suspicious. Now we can go to all of our neighbors. Now, would we go to 3? No, we would not go to 3 because remember, this is a directed graph. We have to invoke something else for it to be suspicious. So if we had another node, say up here, say like 6, that would be suspicious. But because 3 is pointing to 2 and 3 is invoking 2, 3 is not suspicious in this case. So I'll get rid of this to avoid confusion. And then at this point, we have no other methods that we invoke, so we just stop here. We'll come back to 1. We say, there are no other methods I invoke, so we stop, and our DFS is done. So the result of our DFS is that we have 1 and 2. And we can call this our suspicious, right? These are our suspicious nodes. So remember, the rule said that we can remove these as long as there are no outside methods outside the suspicious group that invoke these. So how would we figure this out? Well, we just go through basically all of the other nodes that are not in this group and do the same process. So say we start at 0, we say, okay, I'm going to start at 0 and do a depth first search to find all the methods that it invokes. And if I hit one of these in the suspicious group, that means I know that I can't remove this. Because remember, if this suspicious group, if anything outside of it invokes it, then we know it cannot be removed. So let's do that. So we start at 0. We go to its neighbors and we say, let's go to 1. So we know 1 is in our suspicious group. So we can immediately tell that this group here we cannot remove. So that's really the process that we're doing here. We're going to first do a DFS to find all of the suspicious methods. And then once we have that, we can then do DFSs from all of the nodes outside of it and see if any of those hit any of our methods. So what's the time complexity here? We can say that the time complexity is O of V plus E, which is pretty standard for graph traversal. And why is it this? Well, first, what we do is we're going to start at our k, and we could potentially have the entire graph be suspicious, right? So we might have to go through every single edge and node in the graph to find our suspicious ones, which is O of v plus e. That represents a full graph traversal. And then after that, potentially what we're doing is starting at all the other nodes, right, and checking all nodes from there. However, we're going to keep track of the nodes we've seen, right? So say if we have something like this, right? So we have maybe 4 here, and then we have like 7 coming to here, right? So if we come here and traverse our graph all the way from 0, when we come from 4, we're not going to check all of this again, right? And similarly from 7, we're not going to check everything from 1 again. So we're going to keep track of our seen nodes, right? And if we ever see a node that we've already processed before and already checked, we're not going to do it again. So really what we're doing is we're doing another just graph traversal. We're only going to see each node and edge at most one time. So overall, our time complexity here is O of v plus e. We're doing this process both to find the suspicious nodes and then to find any of the outside nodes that might connect to them. So let's hop over to the code and see exactly how this works. So the first thing we're going to do is set up our graph. So we have just a dictionary for our graph. We're going to put all of the nodes in our graph with just an empty list as their value. And then for each invocation, we're going to put a directed edge from S going to D, or rather A to B from our description. So then what we're going to do is we're going to find our suspicious nodes. So we're just going to do a simple DFS. We're going to start at our node K and keep track of all the suspicious nodes in a set. So if we have already seen the node we just returned, we don't do anything at that point. Then we're going to add our node to our seen nodes, which is our suspicious set. And we know that if we've reached this node, it has to be suspicious because we started at the node with the bug, right? And if we've gotten to this node, it has to have been invoked either directly by that method or by another method that was invoked by that original one. So we know everything that we see here is going to be suspicious. Then we just go through all of our neighbors and continue the DFS. So at this point, we have that suspicious method group. And what we want to do now is we want to go through every other node, and we want to find if they hit any of the nodes in the suspicious group. So we do another DFS here, but slightly modified. So the first thing we check for is see if that node's in our suspicious group. And if it is, then we return true here to indicate that we have an outside node that hits one of the suspicious methods. And we know that that's a condition that we have to think about. Then we add that node to our seen node so we don't process it again. So we're going to assume here that our suspicious is going to be false to start until proven otherwise. Then we're going to go through all of the nodes in our graph. And if the neighbor has not been seen yet, we're going to process it. And then if we find that this node reaches a suspicious node, we're going to update our suspicious value here. Then at the end, we just return our sus value. Really what this method is doing is saying, start at a node, and if we reach any suspicious node, then we just return true, otherwise we're going to return false. Then here is where we actually call that. So we're going through each node in the range n, and if it's in the suspicious, right, so we don't want to start at suspicious nodes, we're looking for connections to those nodes, or if we've seen the node, or if we've already found that one of these nodes hits the suspicious group, right? In this case, as long as we have one connection, we can't remove any of them. So if we've already confirmed that there's a connection, we just continue past it. Then we update our hit sus value, which is what we're going to use to build our final answer. Finally, we build our answer. So we have our answer array. Then for each node, if it's in suspicious, right, and we have not hit the suspicious value, this means that it's a suspicious node, but there's no outside connections to it. So we can just continue past it and remove it from our final answer. Otherwise, we know we have to include this node, so we just append I into our answer, and finally, we return. So let's submit this and make sure that it works. And it does work. So hopefully this was helpful. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.